Good morning students. In the last lecture we learned about the degrees of freedom of a gas molecule. We know that when a molecule is traveling along a straight line, the degrees of freedom is equal to 1 because only one coordinate or one variable is responsible for the complete description of the motion of the molecule. As well as when a molecule is traveling in a plane, it has 2 degrees of freedom, and when a molecule is traveling in a space, it has 3 degrees of freedom. Now we are moving towards the degree of freedom of various molecules, various different types of molecules, that is monoatomic molecule, diatomic molecule and the polyatomic molecules. Okay, so here we start the degree of freedom for the monoatomic gases. So first of all we need to know which are the monoatomic gases. Monoatomic gases means the gases in which the molecules have a single molecule, and the inert gases, they all are the monoatomic gases. So here helium, neon, krypton, etc., they are called as the monoatomic gas because they contain a single atom in a molecule. Now, as we know, there are single atom of a monoatomic gas which can move in all the direction, all the possible direction along x-axis, along y-axis or along z-axis, or the combination of these 3 axes. So we can say that when we consider a monoatomic gas, then the atom or the molecule has 3 degrees of freedom. So when a monoatomic gas is under consideration, we can say that it has 3 degrees of freedom along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Means there are 3 terms, 3 variables required to completely describe the motion of the monoatomic gas molecule. Okay, if there are n number of molecules, then we can say that the number of degree of freedom is equal to 3n. If there are n number of molecules, then the number of degree of freedom is equal to 3n. Okay, so this is all about the monoatomic gas. Now we are moving towards the diatomic gas. So which are the diatomic gases? Diatomic gases means, for example, H2, O2, N2, etc. They are nothing but the diatomic molecule because they contain 2 atoms in a molecule. Now, what is the structure of diatomic molecule? The structure of diatomic molecule is like this. For example, we are considering H2. So this is atom H and this is atom H, which are joined by the bond. Covalent bond is joined these 2 atoms H and H, and this total combined is called as the H2 molecule. The shape of this molecule is like a dumbbell shape. Okay, so it has 3 translational degree of freedom and 2 rotational degree of freedom, because if we cut this bond or we draw an axis, then this molecule can move in a clockwise direction and in the anti-clockwise direction, means it has 2 rotational degree of freedom, as well as this whole molecule can move along the x direction, it can move along the y direction, it can move along the z direction, or it can move along the combination of these 3 variables x, y and z. So this diatomic gas or diatomic molecule has 3 translational degree of freedom and 2 rotational degree of freedom. So total this diatomic gas has 5 degree of freedom. And if there are n number of molecules, then the number of degree of freedom is equal to 5n. Okay, so this is about the diatomic gas. Now we are moving towards the polyatomic gas. Polyatomic gas means in which the molecule contain more than 2 atoms. Such a gas or molecule is called as a polyatomic. Okay, for example, we can give an example CH4, methane. Okay, which contain 5 atoms, 1 atom of carbon and 4 atom of hydrogen, means there are 5 total atoms, which is nothing but a polyatomic gas. So what are the number of degree of freedom in the polyatomic gas? If this polyatomic molecule is linear, then we can say that the number of degree of freedom for this linear polyatomic molecule is equal to 5. Okay, but if the molecule is non-linear, then the number of degrees of freedom is equal to 6. So when we considering the polyatomic molecules, for example CH4, in this case if the molecule is a linear molecule, then it possesses 5 degree of freedom, and if it is a non-linear molecule, then it contains 6 degree of freedom. Now what is linear and non-linear? For example, like this is a non-linear molecule. Okay, and the linear molecule is like this. So in such type of cases, the number of degree of freedom is equal to 5, and in this case the number of degree of freedom is equal to 6. So in this way we learn about the degree of freedom in the case of monoatomic gas, diatomic gas and polyatomic gases. Now we are moving towards the very important law, that is law of equipartition of energy. So what is the law of equipartition of energy? We know that when a gas is inside a container, the gas molecules are in a random motion, means it is a dynamic system. Okay, so what is the statement of this law of equipartition of energy? The law states that any dynamical system in thermal equilibrium, any dynamical system in a thermal equilibrium means the temperature of the system remains constant. Okay, so this law states that any dynamical system in thermal equilibrium, the total energy, the available total energy is equally divided into the number of degree of freedom possessed by the gas molecules, and which is equal to it is equal to 1 by 2 kT, or we can also write it is 1 by 2 RT for 1 mole. So this is the statement called the law of equipartition of energy. What is the statement? The statement is like that: the law of equipartition of energy states that any dynamical system in a thermal equilibrium, the available total energy is equally divided into the number of degrees of freedom of the gas molecules, and which is equal to 1 by 2 kT, or it is equal to 1 by RT for 1 mole. So this is the statement. Now we are going to prove this relation or this law of equipartition of energy. So we are starting from the equation of the pressure. And what is the equation of the pressure? The equation of the pressure is P is equal to 1 by 3 rho C square. What is rho? Rho is nothing but the density, and this density is equal to, this P is equal to 1 by 3 m by V into C square, where this capital M is the total mass of the gas. If the gas contains n molecules, each molecule having mass small m, then we can write this pressure P is equal to 1 by 3 n multiplied by m divided by V multiplied by C square. Okay, so the pressure can be write like this. We can rearrange this equation like 3 PV is equal to, it is n m C square, or we can also write this equation as this m C square, it is equal to 3 PV divided by n. So this whole equation can be rearranged like this. Now if we divide this equation, both sides of the equation by 2, then it is equal to 1 by 2 m C square, which is equal to 3 by 2 PV upon n. But for 1 mole of gas, we can say that this PV is equal to RT according to the ideal gas equation. So this is 1 by 2 m C square is equal to 3 by 2 RT divided by n. But we also know that the ratio R by n, the ratio R divided by n is nothing but the Boltzmann constant. So it is 1 by 2 m C square is equal to 3 by 2 kT, where this k is nothing but the Boltzmann constant and this T is nothing but the absolute temperature. Now what is this 1 by 2 mc square? This 1 by 2 mc square is the average kinetic energy of a gas molecule. Average kinetic energy of a gas molecule 1 by 2 mc square, which is equal to 3 by 2 multiplied by kT. Okay, now it is considered that the number of molecules traveling along the x direction or y direction or z direction, the speed or the velocity of the molecule will remain same. So if u be the velocity along x direction, v be the velocity along the y direction, and w is the velocity along the z direction, so we can say that u square is equal to v square is equal to w square. That is, they are moving along the x direction, y direction or z direction, their speed remains constant. Okay, and also the sum of these square velocities u square plus v square plus W square is nothing but the RMS velocity of the molecule, of the gas. Okay, so U square plus V square plus W square, it must be equal to C square. So if we put this C square is equal to this, so we can write this equation as 1 by 2 mu square plus 1 by 2 mv square plus 1 by 2 mw square is equal to 3 by 2 kT. But we know that the velocity of the gas molecule along x-axis, y-axis or z-axis remains constant. So we can say that this v square and w square, they all are equal to u square. So this equation can be written as, we can replace this v square by u square and this w square by u square. So it is equal to 3 by 2 mu square is equal to 3 by 2 kT. Okay, because this u, v and w, they all are same. Therefore we can write this 1 by 2 mu square is equal to 1 by 2 kT. But 1 by 2 mu square we can write v square and w square. So we can also write this 1 by 2 mu square, which is equal to 1 by 2 mv square, which is equal to 1 by 2 mw square, which is equal to 1 by 2 kT. So what is this? This all represent the average kinetic energy of a gas molecule per degree freedom. Per degree freedom. So the energy available for a degree of freedom is equal to 1 by 2 into kT, where this k is nothing but the Boltzmann constant. Now this is all about the number of molecules. If we are going to find out this energy for the 1 mole of a gas, then for 1 mole of gas we can write the number of molecules, or we can multiply this equation by n, where n is nothing but the Avogadro's number. Then we get the number of, or the energy per degree freedom for 1 mole of gas is equal to 1 by 2 kT multiplied by the number of molecules in 1 mole, that is equal to n. But what is k multiplied by n? This k multiplied by n is equal to r. So we can write this is 1 by 2 r into t. So 1 by 2 RT, this is the average energy of a gas molecule per degree freedom for 1 mole of a gas. And what is 1 by 2 kT? This 1 by 2 kT is the average kinetic energy of a gas for the number of molecules. So in this way we prove the law of equipartition of energy, which state that any dynamical system in a thermal equilibrium, the available energy is divided equally into the number of degrees of freedom, and this energy is equal to 1 by 2 kT for a molecule, and for the 1 mole of gas it is 1 by 2 RT. Okay, so today we discussed about the degree of freedom for the monoatomic gas, diatomic gas and the polyatomic gas, as well as we prove the law of equipartition of energy. So in today's lecture we learn about the degrees of freedom and equipartition of energy. In the next lecture we are going to learn about the specific heat of gases. So this is enough for today. Have a good day. Bye.